Honorable members, Madam Speaker.
Prayer. Almighty God, who in His number bless your goodness, our parents for leaders and parliaments for lesser straight adjustment of the community. We beseech you to look upon with the abundant favor these your servants. We may be pleased to call the performance such important trust in this land. Let your blessings stay with you assembled and grant the mayors in your presence. Treat and consider all matters that shall come at their deliberation. Be so just and faithful manner to promote your honor and glory and to advance the good of those whose interests you have committed to your church.
Item 2, communication from the chair.
Honorable members, I want to welcome you to this afternoon's sitting. As we progress towards the next recess, I am cognizant of the fact that under Section 9(5) of the Public Finance Management Act, which requires the Minister of Finance, Planning and Economic Development to table before this House by 31st December, the National Budget Framework Paper for the following financial year. I therefore urge you, the Minister of Finance, to ensure that the National Budget Framework Paper is tabled in the House by 15th, so that we don't go for recess, come back just to receive the budget framework paper, then go back for recess. So it should be presented on 15th December 2022, and that is in line with our parliamentary calendar. So the Ministry of Finance in absentia, I hope they get the information. We'll have to present the budget framework paper by 15th. The timely tabling of this is really a very good thing for both of us. It will allow us to study the budget framework paper early. It will also allow us to go for recess and have our recess, other than cutting the recess in the middle, you come back and then go, which tends to be a little costly for the institution and for yourself. And the shadow minister will also have a response to whatever is presented, and then we'll refer it to the committees early enough. I want to give a warning this time around. We are not going to receive the budget on the final day, like in the last budget, in the last financial year. We will not do that. We want to study the budget properly before it is presented in the House. That's why you find there's a tendency of Ministry of Finance extracting wrong figures and sending them to institutions. It's different from what Parliament appropriated. So we must study this budget before we approve. We are not going to rubber stamp anything. I want to thank you so much for coming. And we have matters of national on the communication.
Right Honorable Speaker, I want to thank you for your communication, especially concerning the way we receive budgets on the deadline, Right Honorable Speaker. Right Honorable Speaker, it was not only the last financial year or the last budgeting cycle, it has become a tendency that the Minister of Finance will come in the dying minute. This is almost the 5th time that I have been here in Parliament, and this is happening, Right Honorable Speaker. Right Honorable Speaker, this time round, I would seek your indulgence to ask the Minister early enough to come to the floor of Parliament and commit themselves that to deliver this very early, that we scrutinize the budget, get clear priorities of the country as Parliament of Uganda, and then we do thorough work. Otherwise, Right Honorable Speaker, if you just
But we have the ministers of finance in this country.
Right Honorable Speaker, I was seeking your indulgence in that you ask the Minister of Finance to come and commit themselves here on the floor of Parliament, and then that we move when we are sure that what you've said they are going to do, because you always make directives here and they just do otherwise.
But we make directives to a desk without anybody. And I am not, Honorable Bahati is always there as a member of parliament. And they should not pretend that Bahati will cover them. Honorable Bahati, you're there in your own capacity. Have they asked you to cover them?
Madam Speaker, just mentioned that the Minister of Finance, while you are speaking, I sent a message there on the way coming, and they will be able to make that commitment.
You know. Anyway, there is a procedural matter.
Thank you very much, Right Honorable Speaker. Right Honorable Speaker, during the last meeting of this session, I stood here before the floor of Parliament and raised the matter to do with the paid institution of the Local Government Finance Commission. Right Honorable Speaker, we got an explanation at that time from the minister that everything was being done to expedite the formulation of the Local Government Finance Commission.
Honorable Obama.
I'm raising Right Honorable Speaker under Rule 220 of our rules of procedure.
Honorable Obama.
Yes, sir.
Don't want to lose what has been raised. Can we first have this responded?
Okay.
And Government Chief Whip. Government Chief Whip, I know your job is a very tiresome job, a very hectic job, a trying job, but you should always be first in this house.
Yes.
Government Chief Whip, you should always be the first in this house to be able to answer to everything. Unfortunately, I'm the first, so I take over your job and I take over even the others. Honorable Minister of Finance, what was in my communication is that under our calendar of Parliament, we are expected to be in recess by 31st December. And because of the recess in December, but under the Public Finance Management Act, you are supposed to lay before the House the budget framework paper. We are now asking you that a budget framework paper must be laid on the floor by 15th of December for you not to disorganize the budget calendar. So we need a commitment from you that by 15th December, we will have the budget framework paper laid on table so that it helps the shadow ministers to respond and the central committees to look at the budget framework papers.
Thank you very much, Right Honorable Speaker and honorable colleagues. Right Honorable Speaker, we are law-abiding citizens and very committed to our job. Therefore, I would like to commit on behalf of Ministry of Finance, Planning and Economic Development that we will indeed lay the budget framework paper before the 15th of December.
And in the last financial year, when we were passing the budget, the agenda came in the evening, a day before the budget was passed. We also, this time around, don't sneak in the agenda in the night, and then the next day is when we are passing the budget, because we shall not pass it. We need that commitment that agenda come early, and we will have the budget for scrutiny for about a week before we pass it. And if the agenda will not be there, then you tell us.
Right, Honorable Speaker, we do not encourage sneaking or going behind Parliament's back. Sometimes those agendas are not occasioned by things that we envisage. But what I can commit is that we will try our level best to work within the law and ensure that we do not bring a agenda.
Thank you. Solomon, your question has been answered. There was a procedural matter from Obama.
Yes, right, Honorable.
Honorable Singoma, not Obama.
Yes, thank you. Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker, for recognizing me. Right Honorable Speaker, I was raising the matter of the delayed formulation of the government commission.
Is it arising out of my communication?
Honorable Speaker, I'm raising under Rule 220 of our rules of procedure. Right Honorable, in our last meeting, I raised this matter here on the floor, and the minister responded and confirmed it to the House that everything possible was being done to expect the formulation of the Local Government Finance Commission. But Right Honorable Speaker and Honorable members, to date, there is no Local Government Finance Commission which has been formed. And there is a crisis at the commission because the employees there are working without contracts, and there is nobody who can issue the contracts other than the commission. So we have got a disaster in way in that commission, Honorable. The Minister of Law Government was here, Honorable Majezi. I know he's very rare in this house, but I saw him like 2 days ago. I wonder, Honorable, whether it would not be in order or it would not be proceeding properly if the minister was called upon to give us an action taken report on this matter before it really escalates into this. This week is exactly 1 year since the last Local Government Finance Commission, expired. A whole 360 days, Right Honorable Speaker. There is no Local Government Finance Commission, and that commission now it is every for himself and God for them all. So it's really a pathetic situation, Right Honorable, and we cannot sit as a house and watch when the situation gets bad at the Local Government Finance Commission, Right Honorable Speaker.
Thank you. Government Chief Whip, we've taken a lot of decisions, we made a lot of resolutions in this house. We have a number of reports with the resolutions, and no feedback, no action has taken place. And I've always given an example of the Committee of Trade and Tourism. There was an issue on the lands, and now the issue that is being raised by Honorable Patrick, nothing has taken place. What do we do? What next? We just sit here, debate, no actions are taken, and we move on that we are working.
Right Honorable Speaker and honorable members, if my memory serves me right, I know that the Local Government Finance Commission is one of the constitutional commissions. Exactly. And it falls under the mandate of the Ministry of Local Government. Right Honorable Speaker, I undertake to draw this with your permission to the attention of the Minister of Local Government. And if you grant us some time, he can come or she can come to explain to Parliament what has happened in the establishment of the membership of the Local Government Finance Commission as required by law and the Constitution, to be particular.
A government chief whip, what about other reports that were adopted by this house? When do we get an action taken? For instance, the report of Soroti Fruit Factory, the report of, was it Atiak? Come and remind us your reports. Honorable, a moment, let's finish on the actions.
Thank you, Right Honorable. There was a report on the rice. There was a report on Soroti Fruit Factory and a report on the fuel crisis.
There was a report on Guru Nakawalan. There was a report on Kasole. There was a report on coffee. There was a report on Loboa. There is a report on a number of reports. Go check your records and you will get them. We need the actions that have been taken.
Right Honorable Speaker, the action taken report is a mandate of the leader of government business in Parliament, and my office undertakes that if granted time, these reports will be prepared and the leader of government business, who is the Prime Minister of the Republic of Uganda, will be able to update Parliament within 2 weeks.
Thank you. We'll write, if we don't hear from you, we'll put it in writing to you, and we'll be acting under Rule 220 to that effect. Yes.
Madam Speaker, I've raised on a procedural matter concerning the absence of the office of the leader of government business. Madam Speaker, according to the Commonwealth governance system, it is always a must for office of the leader of government to be in the office. And lucky enough, in Uganda, we are blessed that we have almost, can I say, 5 or 4 prime ministers. Prime Minister in charge of ABCD, in charge of barrios, in charge of this and that and the other. I don't know whether we are proceeding well, Madam Speaker, to an extent that now the government chief whip is giving the leader of government business timeline to come and give statements on floor of Parliament in a process that we have 4 full prime ministers. The fact we have the biggest cabinet in sub-Saharan Africa, Madam Speaker, I don't know whether we are proceeding well.
Can I get a clarification from government? Let the chief whip clarify. He's the one supposed to whip everybody.
Right Honorable Speaker and honorable members, for the record, we do not have a prime minister in charge of ABCD. We have the Prime Minister of the Republic of Uganda, who was appointed under Article 108 of the Constitution, and constitutionally is the leader of government business, and 3 deputy prime ministers. Right Honorable Speaker, whether the Prime Minister is in or not in, the office is here. Missing here is Right Honorable Nabanja, but the office of the Prime Minister
Honorable.
is represented in Parliament.
Honorable Board, there's an order, but at the same time, when you said, I am going to inform the, I am going to inform the minister, the Prime Minister, just accept that the Prime Minister is not here. They are not there. Eh? Even a blind person can see that they are not there. Maybe if it is Anita has been delegated. Anita, have you been delegated? Yes.
Right Honorable Speaker, I have seen on a number of occasions, if the leader of opposition is not in and the whip is in, even the speaker says, leader of opposition.
I am always informed. He puts it in writing. I will be aware. Honorable Nambeshe will be the leader of opposition today. I have been in my office the whole day. You never came and told me that I delegated you.
Right Honorable Speaker, I can state without any contradiction that the Right Honorable Prime Minister will be in person, but as of now, our office is represented by the government chief whip.
Honorable members, and my brother, the chief whip, says she's represented. Now I'm wondering who will handle the Prime Minister's time. I hope you'll. Yes,
Right Honorable Speaker, I have stated in the affirmative that the Right Honorable Prime Minister will be here. But for now, the office is represented by the government chief whip.
I am also happy that you can only inform me that you've been delegated to do the work in the House. As an institution of Parliament and executive, we should be able to work together. If you've been delegated or if you're delegating somebody, kindly, it is out of courtesy. It is out of courtesy that you inform. And it is out of courtesy that you inform, and I know the Prime Minister is going to apologize to me for coming late. I know that.
Right Honorable Speaker and colleagues, I have come late and I apologize.
Thank you. Thank you. Honorable Prime Minister, thank you for that gesture. And thank you for coming. Yes. Yes, procedure. Is it on the same issue? No. I have already received the apology. Yes. No, she has come. The Prime Minister is here in full. Yes, no more question. Can we move on? Matters of national importance. Can we have Doctor?
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. I rise on a matter of national importance concerning the government's proposal to hike national identification card fees. Right Honorable Speaker and colleagues, the Ministry of Internal Affairs under the National Affairs of the National Identification and Registration Authority plans to carry out a mass enrollment and renewal of national identity cards from June 2023 to August 2024. Right Honorable Speaker, in the process, government seeks to introduce express first-time enrollment and renewal, where IDs will be processed in 2 days at a cost of 50,000 shillings. Again, the government has also hiked fees for replacement and charge and change of ID particulars to 200,000 shillings from 50,000 shillings. Right Honorable Speaker and colleagues, there is no known basis or criteria upon which the fees for replacement and change of national ID particulars have been hiked from 50,000 to 200,000 Uganda shillings, which I think is too high and not affordable by an ordinary Ugandan. My prayer is simple, that the Ministry of Internal Affairs briefs us on the viability of the proposals in these tough economic times. I beg to submit.
Prime Minister. General.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker and honorable members. I take cognizance of the concern of the Honorable Kamara, but I want to say that this idea of mass enrollment was presented before this House, and I hope he was here. If he wasn't, that issue he's talking about is already in the law, the Registration of Persons Act. It's not a new idea, but it's not cast in stone. We can review it and see what position we can reach with the Parliament.
What is specifically in the law? The pricing, how much is it?
What is in the law, Right Honorable Speaker, is that for express processing of a passport, you incur a fee, and for a passport which is lost, or rather an identity card which is lost, not a passport.
And what is raising that in these hard times, people are not able to pay how much? 50,000?
50,000.
So that is what is raising. So for him, he's saying, and since you say it is not cast on stone, so can we review the prices? Is it possible? That's what he's asking.
Can I consult and maybe come back with a more informed position?
Thank you. Yes.
Thank you so much, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, a similar scenario was raised, and the Committee of Defense and Internal Affairs met with NIRA, and I think the minister that time was not around. Actually, the senior minister was with us, and that issue raised up, and the committee vehemently actually refused that. And they said it was just a proposal which they were bringing up, but we said that you cannot bring that proposal of 200, and they said, okay, they will review that. So I think that our report will soon come on the floor of Parliament because we tackled that issue during our committee meeting. Thank you.
Honorable members, let's wait for the committee recommendations on that matter. And since the committee rejected it, so that will be the right time for us to debate on it. And we come up with what we think is affordable for the local people outside there. Yeah. Sarah Opendi. Opendi, Sarah.
Thank you very much, Right Honorable Speaker. Right Honorable Speaker, it has just been brought to my attention by a concerned student at Kampala International University. This is an internal memo written to female nurses and midwives and requiring them to go for pregnancy tests and pay 5,000 shillings to account before they sit for the national examinations. And Right Honorable Speaker, this is discrimination of the highest order if this is true. And Right Honorable Speaker, I want to request the Ministry of Education, these are adults, the Ministry of Education, to follow up this matter, because it states that failure to do so, you will not sit for the exams, Uganda nurses and midwives examinations. Thank you. And this memo is dated 9th of November, 2022. Right Honorable Speaker, I beg to lay this.
What is the authenticity of that document? The authenticity of the document. Who wrote the document?
Right Honorable Speaker, it is signed by the acting dean.
Go and reproduce and fill the world. So why would you discriminate ladies? Why would you discriminate women? Yes,
Madam Speaker, I think that when we raise issues here, it should be clear enough. And I want the Honorable Sarah Opendi to make clarification so that the House can understand her concern. Is it about the need to pay that 5,000 test or to test if they are pregnant? Because if we are reasoning in terms of discrimination, men cannot get pregnant. Men cannot.
honorable
So
member.
if you are testing pregnancy, it
Have you ever seen a woman impregnating a woman?
Madam Speaker,
The issue is not about the 5,000. The issue is you will not be allowed to do exams if you have conceived.
That's what I'm coming to. Madam Speaker, PLE, we have just concluded PLE. All the schools allowed pregnant girls to sit. Maybe, and I thought that the directive for the investigation to take place would inform this House. Maybe that institution wants to make an arrangement for pregnant mothers to sit in a particular place or something. But when we sit here,
Honorable members. Hajat Abed, you have something to say? Hajat.
Right Honorable Speaker, for us Ajats in such a situation, we would really feel uneasy and very discriminated. Now, on behalf of all the Ajats in this country, Right Honorable Speaker, on this matter specifically, on pertaining the letter, number one, what we should do is to ascertain the authenticity as you guided, and number three, to have a written response over this to Parliament of Uganda, so that it goes on record and no another institution will do that again. Thank you.
Honorable members, can you sit? The Prime Minister has already committed herself on this matter. That's one. Two, I have asked the Minister of Education to ascertain the authenticity there's a lot of competition. You will find, we need to find out the motive of this. You'll find somebody wants to spoil the good name of KIU. And yet maybe it is not KIU that has authored that letter. So we need to find out all that kind of information, and we'll act on that. Auma? Yes. Haj.
Madam Speaker, we need to be very careful with the issues of faith. As Muslims, we don't encourage children to get pregnant before marriage. So nobody should ever, whether you're putting on a Muslim like a dress, to say that the Hajjat is unhappy because the school is checking pregnancy. In our faith, it is haram. You simply cannot. So therefore,
the information I want to give is that, in fact, should you get pregnant outside the marriage, you are given 100 strokes of kindness. That's the information I want to give.
So therefore, the procedural issue I am raising, Madam Speaker, because people are going to read the records of Parliament, and they will find there that someone claiming to be a Hajjat said Muslims encourage children getting pregnant. The procedural issue I am raising is where that particular reference, because it touches faith, should not be expunged.
Honorable Sam Mojo Ibrahim Haji of Kira, that university does not only have Muslims, that's one. And help me with that second. It does not have only Muslims, and you don't speak for everybody. Even me, I'm a Hajjat. Honorable members, this information, the internal memo, was given by the acting dean, School of Nursing. And I think, I am imagining, after hearing this debate here, a letter of withdrawal has been written now, and it has just been sent now. And now this one is signed by the Deputy Vice Chancellor, Western Campus. But this is very, very unfortunate. We condemn the action. We will not allow this to happen. These are not kids. By the time you go for nursing, you're above 18. And even if they were young, we have people, P7 kids who have gotten pregnant. Again, it's the policy. But now when you start discriminating, and yet you are the same men who are impregnating these women. Huh? So why should you stop? Why should you stop people from doing exams? This must stop. Alum Helen.
Thank you so much, Right Honorable Speaker. For record purpose, Auma Helen Wandera, representing the people of Busia District. I raised on the matter of urgent national importance. Regarding the heavy downpour that affected 4 villages in Suda sub-county in Busia District on 2nd November 2022. Right Honorable Speaker, on this day, Busia District experienced heavy downpour and over 50 acres of various crops were destroyed, as well as more than 30 households were totally left homeless. Right, Honorable Speaker, so far, Uganda Red Cross has provided temporary shelter to a few affected families. It is good, but not sufficient. Right, Honorable Speaker, my prayers, the Ministry of Disaster Preparedness and Refugee should intervene and urgently provide relief items to the people of Busia District. Thank you.
Thank you, Prime Minister.
Honorable Speaker and colleagues, I request the member to get us a report from the district disaster committee, and then we see how best we can come in.
Honorable Uma, can you get a report from the disaster committee and then present it to OPM and then it will be acted upon?
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. I have it on my phone. Let me go and print it and I bring it right now.
Please.
Thank you.
Thank you. Honorable Medio. Komol.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. For record purposes, Komol Joseph Midi is my name, Member of Parliament, Dodoti North in Kabong District. I rise on the matter of urgent national importance regarding the state of the roads in the new town councils of Kalapata and Katsile. Right Honorable Speaker, the road network in these town councils is in bad shape and needs serious attention. And yet roads in town councils, Right Honorable Speaker, if well connected, will attract development and facilitate good service delivery and businesses. Right Honorable Speaker, the Ministry of Works and Transport is mandated to ensure maintenance and improvement and improve on connectivity of the roads in these sectors. Right Honorable Speaker, in the recent second quarter release of funding to sub-counties and town councils by Uganda Road Fund, dated 17th October 2022, the two town councils have never got any money despite their status of the bad roads. Right Honorable Speaker, apart from the town councils, also 4 other sub-counties across the district of Kabong have not been funded. Right Honorable Speaker, all these town councils and sub-counties have poor road network, and I would say it has not been right for Uganda Road Fund to have left them unfunded. My prayers, Right Honorable Speaker, before the prayers, the 4 other sub-counties are Morungole sub-county, Timu sub-county, Olilolele sub-county, and then Lobonga sub-county. My prayer, Right Honorable Speaker, is that the Ministry of Works and Transport should ensure that the funded town councils and sub-counties also be funded. Thank you very much.
Prime Minister.
Right Honorable Speaker and colleagues, it is true the new town councils and new sub-counties had not yet been coded by Uganda Road Fund. So in a meeting we had with the head of state, he directed that in the second quarter, all the money, because they were wondering whether they would use the money for the old sub-counties. So now they said, at least let them get something. And this quarter, that is January, February, March, and April up to June, those new town councils and sub-counties will be getting, because they are being coded right now.
Thank you. Alan.
Thank you so much, Madam Speaker. For record purposes, I'm Mayanja Alan from Nakasike Central. Right on Speaker, I rise under Rule 49 on an urgent matter concerning the persistent arbitrary arrests, disappearances, and torture of Ugandans at the hands of security operatives. Right on the Speaker, at least 10 people, namely Jakana Yusuf, Kasim Chanjo, Rehema Nakungu, Yesima Senkubuge, to mention but a few, in Kalege village, Semuto sub-county in Nakasike district, who are close relatives, former minister Alhaj Abdulu Naduli, were picked up by people reportedly security operatives in the wee hours of Tuesday, 8th November 2022, over unknown charges. Lord Honorable Speaker, according to the leaders and the relatives of these people, the security operatives drove in 3 vehicles, also known as drones, broke into the houses and beat up the family members in the course of the arrest at 3 a.m. When the family members tried to inquire about the reasons of the arrest, they were roughed up by security operatives. Right on the Speaker, these rampant arbitrary arrests all over in the world, in Uganda, sorry, in the country, are against Article 24 of our Constitution and Article 3 and 9 of the Universal Declaration of Human Rights. So we must condemn them because it is a sign of human rights violation. Otherwise, Ugandans are seeing us careless leaders, Lord Honorable Speaker. I therefore pray that the Internal Affairs Minister present a statement to ascertain the actual reasons for these arrests and why security agencies do not summon suspects first, other than invading people's homes in the wee hours, abduct people, torture them, and detain people in unknown places without the known.
Right, Honorable. Indeed, I agree that that's a serious matter. Why I'm rising up on to put my colleague on order is just the statement he has made. And it has gone on record. The world over is watching us, deliberating, and accepting that we are careless leaders. Is he in order to refer, I believe, us here as careless leaders? He's still putting his case and he's already judging us. Madam Speaker, is he in order, therefore?
Honorable members, we are very responsible members of Parliament. We are not careless at all. Maybe it is the action that he meant. It is the action that was done in a careless way, not the members being careless. The members we have in this house are very responsible, very, very responsible, and they represent all the people of Uganda, but the action could be the one which was done in a careless way.
Thank you so much, Honorable Speaker, for your guidance.
So the members are not careless.
But the public.
I am saying the members are not careless, but the
Yes.
action was careless.
Yes, Honorable Speaker, the members, even the leaders are not careless. But the way how Ugandans are seeing us when we are not condemning such acts, we look to be careless. So we need to condemn, we must come out. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
No. Alan, the Ugandans are not looking at us in a careless way. They are not looking at us as people who are careless. The action is what we agreed is done in a careless way. Me, I'm not careless. How can a speaker be careless? You first withdraw that statement before.
Thank you, Lord Speaker, for your guidance. I hereby, according to your guidance, I withdraw the statement. Thank you.
And we have a Majegere here. Once you say something, she will condemn, she will take action. Mama Majegere.
Right, Honorable Speaker, we have a neighbor leader here. The general. Once a general, you were a general for life. And I know he's able. He will give us the explanation.
Thank you so much.
Right, Honorable Speaker, honorable members. This is a matter that has been in and out of this house. So I'll start with the general principles that we should abide by, that where there is crime, arrests are inevitable. But that arrests also have to be conducted in a certain lawful way. That said, I'll take particular interest in the names given and then revert with a more informed position about why those people are arrested, where they are, and the cases for which they are held.
Honorable Minister, these things have been in this house for too long. Can we really, for the last time, have a session on these issues? And let's have a session on these issues. And we have all the names. We can have a private session first before we come to the house. And we report to the house on actions that we've taken.
Right, Honorable Speaker, there is a list actually which was submitted by the leader of the opposition, to which we have made a response through our leaders, the Right Honorable Prime Minister. But if needed, with your permission, we can have that session you're having to discuss the matter and dispose of it.
And can we also have the names, the particulars of the 10 you're talking about? Kindly pass it over and give me a copy, and we see what we can do with that. And of course, if the arrest was unlawful, then an action will be taken on those persons. We need to find out what happened, what could have happened to those people, what did they do, so that we can be able to condemn whoever is responsible.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. When ministers come to speak here, they must make a commitment that some of these things will not happen. When a minister comes and says, I'm going to investigate, and after 2 weeks, another person is abducted, they are tortured. And after a month, the same thing keeps happening. And we have been debating this thing here in the entire session of the 11th Parliament. What the minister should tell us is, one, that government is committed to ensuring that they abide by the principles that the Honorable Minister has talked about, that you are not going to arrest somebody unlawfully, and in case you have arrested them, you will ensure that you have produced them in court within 48 hours, and if you cannot do that, ensure that their rights are protected. What the members raised is, an arrest takes place, the next of kin are not informed, the people arresting do not even identify themselves, they move in vehicles that are not marked, the places of detentions are not gazetted, and people come with wounds in their feet, on their back, and they have been tortured. That's what government should commit themselves to. And I know that the minister is a very astute lawyer, knows these principles. It will not be very difficult for him to come and commit here.
Honorable and get these corrupt people? Is there a value for money? Now, finance, therefore, can you give us information of how much money you've given to all the districts in the country so that we are able to determine what has been done and what is not done?
Right Honorable Speaker.
Yes. It's still on
Thank
a
you
procedure.
very much, Madam Speaker. And I want to put it on record that if I want to be seen, I don't have to stand when the Honorable Nabanja is on the floor,
No, that was a joke.
but it is recorded by Parliament. So, and I want to say, I know if I want to be seen what I do. Madam Speaker, a motion has been moved under 190. Proceedings of this Parliament are recorded and are watched, like one other colleague said earlier, by the whole world. In the middle of a motion, you have, and maybe we didn't have enough orientation, you have a statement, because the Prime Minister's time gives the Prime Minister opportunity to give a statement or answer questions. The procedure issue I am raising is whether the Prime Minister, who has been here for fairly long, who has been here fairly long, and knows the rules fairly, I think, of procedure. Is Parliament proceeding well to even confuse the technical people who are recording our minutes here? That in the middle of a motion moved under the rule, the Prime Minister is reading a statement.
Honorable members, I put a question that the select committee be put in place to investigate the operation of National Council of Sports. Those in favor say on the contrary, nay. The ayes have it. The Prime Minister was just making a contribution to why we should have a select committee. That's why she was talking, and it didn't distort anything. I'm still on the floor. It did not distort anything, and I want to thank you, Prime Minister, for your contribution because it builds. And honorable members, before we get to know how the money is being used in National Council of Sports, we are not adding money. Much as you're crying for more money, we will not add you money before you check on the governance issues. I now therefore name the members of the committee. I am naming the members, then you will come.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. As a matter of procedure, for your guidance again, would it be safe for the record of this House that the Honorable Basalirwa is advised to move under 59K,
Without notice?
him not having given notice to the House, so that we can still carry the motion, but then change the record of on the Hansard.
When the Honorable Basalirwa moved the 59K, 59K was suspended and has been suspended by the Speaker for him to move on 190. Honorable members, I now therefore name the members. Honorable Mpindi Bumali will be the chair of this committee. Honorable Solomon Kayemba Solo. Honorable Isavire Idi. Honorable Donald Katarikwa. Donald. Honorable Achibu Agnes. Honorable Achibu Agnes is a woman. Honorable Kanusu. Laura, we have 6 members. Give us a report. The seventh member is honorable members. I am still in charge of this. Opio is independent. Honorable members, the honorable, just a minute, you'll come in. She's also in the queue. There is Honorable Margaret Mahor, number 7. She's an independent. Honorable members.
Right, Honorable Speaker, I want to thank you. But I also want to inform you members with powers entrusted in me by the Constitution. I will cause a forensic audit in this, in addition to what members will do. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Honorable Minister.
Madam Speaker, I want to beg your indulgence on 2 things. Number 1, the chairperson of the select committee you've named, in my opinion, is the president of the Uganda Paralympics. And when we talk about Uganda Paralympics, you're talking about it's within the National Council of Sports. So I would like to beg for your indulgence that since we wanted a person with disability to be among the members, maybe.
Honorable Council will chair the committee, Laura, and we can replace Honorable PD. We'll replace him with Solomon.
Number 2, Madam Chairperson, Madam Speaker.
Solomon Silwanyi. Honorable members.
Madam Speaker.
That is the team that I have selected. Those in favor say on the contrary, nay. The ayes have it.
Madam Speaker, the last one, I'd wanted to beg your indulgence. Why am I saying this? Can I request, Madam Speaker, can you protect me?
Honorable members, please. Honorable Samujo. I think you lost your place is the other side. No, you first go up. The minister is speaking, please. No, you are not a shadow.
Madam Speaker, I really want to beg.
Honorable members, listen to the minister.
I want to beg the indulgence of this house. The directive or the position you're giving that no monies should go to National Council of Sports.
No.
During this time.
No. That is not what I've said. I have said as Parliament, we are not going to add you money, additional money in the budget before we confirm. I have no control.
Madam Speaker, I have no say over that. I thank you. I thought maybe because now
No.
It is okay. Thank you.
When I am Honorable Minister, we want to know where the money that we gave you goes. That's why we want to confirm. And after we've done that, then we can be able to add you more money. And once we confirm that the credibility, because now there is a suspicion that maybe there is fraud and that kind of thing. Next item.
Item 6.2.
Next item.
Statement on government business for the succeeding week.
Thank you so much, Right Honorable Speaker. Right Honorable Speaker, I move under Rule 28 of our Rules of Procedure that requires me as head of government business to make a statement this house regarding the business of the succeeding week. I therefore submit the following business for the week of 15th to 17th November 2022. That is, we shall have a statement by ministers, that is the Minister of State Higher Education, on the fire outbreak at Salama School for the blind in Tenjeru, Kisoga Town Council, Mukono District. We shall also have a statement from the Minister of Gender, Labor and Social Development on the 16 days of activism against gender-based violence against women and girls. We shall also have another statement for the East African Community Affairs on the 22nd East African Community Micro, Small and Medium Enterprises Community known as Juakali Naguru, and then a motion which I will move. Right, Honorable Speaker. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Prime Minister. Next item.
Item 7, Prime Minister's time.
Abur, what is your problem?
Right, Honorable Speaker. Right, Honorable Speaker, the Parliament of Uganda is in the second year of our term. And Right, Honorable Speaker, I've observed with concern the sitting space for the Minister of State with Disabilities. Right, Honorable Speaker. Right, Honorable Speaker, her condition cannot allow her in any way to sit on the front bench. And even when the house is fully packed, you find Honorable Minister Asamo squeezed there. Right, Honorable Speaker. I would beg the Parliamentary Commission to design a special seat for Honorable Asamo and any other minister that will come in future with disability, so that, you know, they are appropriately, you know, whatever. I remember Honorable Asamo used to sit somewhere there in a special place. If it be, let her sit there and she can present as a minister from wherever she is. If not, Honorable Solomon, the commissioner, Honorable Rose, please, as a parliamentary commission.
There is
I
also
thank
for
you
your
very
chance.
much. Is it procedurally right for us to continue like this for Honorable Asamo to sit for the next another 3 years in inappropriate space? I thank you.
Actually, it is not only Honorable Samo that has that challenge. A number of persons with a disability have that challenge, and they've raised that issue to us. Honorable Solomon, you have what to say?
Right, Honorable Speaker, we have taken note as the backbench parliamentary commissioners, and we are going to fast track to see that that is done because it is a very pertinent issue.
Honorable members, as the chair of the commission, next week we'll sort out the issue of Honorable Samo. I am assigning you the backbench commissioners to bring somebody to make sure that the chair is fixed, a comfortable chair. Thank you.
Honorable Speaker, I want to thank you on behalf of Cabinet and the
And
front
maybe to
bench.
show you that we care for our persons with a disability.
Yes.
As a commission, we gave all our persons with a disability aids. They move with their aids who are paid by Parliament. Okay. Pardon?
Right, Honorable Speaker and colleagues.
Order.
Right, Honorable Speaker, I got a question from Honorable Achon Julius Bua, Member of Parliament, Atuke East. Otuke, yes. In 1972, that government of Uganda awarded a house to John Akibua when he won a gold medal in Munich, Germany during the Olympic competition. That while the physical house was given, the land title was never delivered to him. And as such, his family does not have any documentary evidence for ownership of the same. His prayer is that, can I clarify whether or not the title in question exists? And he also says, can I lay the same on the table and hand it over to the family of the late John Akibua to put the matter to rest? Right, Honorable Speaker and colleagues, my response is that the title exists. And I wish to confirm that in July 2021, under the wise leadership of the First Lady and the Minister of Education and Sports, government secured the certificate of title for the property donated to the late John Akibua in 1972. The details of the property are as follows. The district is Mengo. The county is Kivuga. The block number is 29. The plots are 1708 and 1709. And therefore, Right Honorable Speaker and colleagues, this land title was handed over to the administrator of the estate during the president's recognition of the Ugandan as a T in October this year at State House. The second question came from Honorable Bilaro Ephraim, Member of Parliament, Buweji West. He says that Buweji is like other districts in Uganda, is endowed with several minerals, most prominently gold, that our people have been rendered vulnerable to ill health as a result of chemicals used by commercial gold miners. It is said that these gold miners who use industrial scale methods and technology apply mercury in the running streams in order to compress the gold powder for their benefit, which mercury is known as hazardous to hazardous chemical to humans and animals and all aquatic life. Water which flows from gold mines in Injeru, Ngaju, Kagorogoro, Bihanga, Runengo, Nyakitaraka, and several other places is shared by the communities downstream to their detriment. The big commercial gold miners seem to have no regard for property rights of the natives. They enter and excavate any piece of land at will. His prayers that the ministries in charge of mineral and environment should go on ground in Buweju to assess the dangers posed by chemicals and take appropriate action. 2, the ministry in charge of licensing commercial miners should go on ground and assess and tame the impact against the population by their agents. The third one is that the Committee on Natural Resources, that is within your powers, Right Honorable, that the Committee on Natural Resources should make a visit to Buweju and assess the impact of the mining activities to the community. Right Honorable Speaker, the Ministry of Energy and Mineral Development has instituted policies, reviewed and enacted laws to guide the development of the sector. For instance, the recently assented to Mining and Mineral Act 2022. This will ensure sustainable socio-economic transformation of the country. The ministry is continuously engaging with all stakeholders, including ministries, departments, and agencies, and local governments to ensure compliance to the Mining and Mineral Act. Dear colleagues, the ministry, together with the National Environmental Management Authority, is committed to implementation of the Minamata Convention, where Uganda is a signatory. The Convention on Mature is the most recent global agreement on environment and health adopted in 2013. One of the objectives of the convention is to protect human health and the environment from pollutants and releases of mercury and its compounds. Government is promoting the use of environmentally friendly alternatives to mercury, such as the use of borax in processing of gold. Honorable Speaker and colleagues, the law provides penalties for use of mercury and other hazardous chemicals in the mining sector. Honorable Speaker, like I said when I was starting, I request you to allow the Committee on Natural Resources to conduct an oversight visit as per the members' request. Number 3, Honorable Nanyondo Veronica, Bukoma Sindi District, Woman MP. He says, I rise on a matter concerning the readiness by government to implement the new lower secondary school curriculum. Recently, the government, through Ministry of Education and Sports and the National Curriculum Development Center, introduced a new thematic-based lower secondary school curriculum that will be implemented when schools open in January. According to her, this has been an issue of debate even before Parliament, to the extent that we considered halting the implementation of the new curriculum. Questions are risen as to whether the new curriculum will deliver the investigated outcomes and overcome the challenges faced by the existing curriculum. It is also not yet clear if all stakeholders were involved in the process of developing the new curriculum are the key determinants to its successful implementation. Our prayer. Right Honorable Prime Minister, it is vital that teachers, parents, students, and all stakeholders who together support the education sector are on the same page in regard to the new curriculum. Right Honorable Speaker and colleagues, my response is that the implementation of the new lower secondary curriculum started in February 2020 and is on track. The pioneers of this new lower secondary curriculum would have been in senior 3, but due to what you all know, the COVID-19 pandemic and lockdown, they are in senior 2. They expected to sit their first assessment by the Directorate of Industrial Training on their occupational proficiency in 2023 and Uganda Certificate of Education examinations by UNEB in 2024. A total of 6,020 government and private schools received syllabus books for the subjects offered in addition to phototype learners book textbooks, teachers guides and training manual in 2019. 30 secondary school teachers, 30,000 secondary school teachers from both private and government schools have been trained on the new lower secondary curriculum. I have provided a table with details of trainings and orientations of various stakeholders on the new lower secondary curriculum, as you can see below. Right, Honorable Speaker and colleagues, the lower secondary school curriculum is not thematic as indicated by the Honorable Member. It is a competency-based curriculum, which is outcome-based and learner-centered. The thematic curriculum is for the primary level, and this was rolled out in 2007, starting with primary 1 up to P7 in 2013. Right, Honorable Speaker and colleagues, in the process of developing the new curriculum, consultations were carried out with a number of stakeholders. The Ministry of Education and Sports has continued to create awareness on the new lower secondary school curriculum through radios, TV talk shows, and presentations at different forums. The first question came from the Honorable Sesaga, Member of Parliament, Udadili East, that Uganda National Examination Board is withholding exam materials for all secondary schools for Uganda Certificate of Education and Uganda Advanced Certificate of Education in the forthcoming exams, demanding for certificates of clearance from Uganda National Students Association and CESMAT as contributions for their release. Uganda National Students Association and the Secondary Science and Mathematics Teachers, that is CESMAT, are demanding schools to pay all accumulated areas or these schools presumed collected from students co-funding since 2020. With COVID-19 situation, most parents were hit hard and failed to clear school fees areas, of which most schools waived them off. His prayers that the Ministry of Education and Sports prevails over NEB to release the exam materials to schools. The second one is that UNEB be cautioned not to attach either release of materials nor results of students basing on UNSA or CESMAT dealings with schools. Right, Honorable Speaker, my response is that Uganda Students Association, that is UNSA, is an umbrella body for students in Uganda, both in government-aided and private post-primary institutions of learning. The students' body derives its mandate from the Education Act of 2008 that requires all schools and institutions to establish a students' association councils. Collectively, these students' councils manage and run their affairs under UNSA Constitution. A total of 1,572 schools had been cleared by 27 September 2022. Head teachers who have challenges have also been handled differently. I want to report that there is no school that has been denied examination materials as alleged. Right Honorable Speaker and colleagues, secondary science and mathematics teachers, that is SESEMAT, is a program that started in 2005 between the Japanese government and the government of Uganda through Ministry of Education and Sports to improve the teachers' delivery, which would in turn lead to improvement in the performance of science and mathematics education. This intervention was started in the year 2005 and underwent three phases, and thereafter JICA phased out. Honorable Speaker and colleagues, for sustainability of the program, that a fee of 1,000 was levied on each student due to non-commitment of the head teachers in remitting these funds. It was decided to tag the collection of UNEB materials to the certificates remittance of SESEMAT funds, as it was seen as the most suitable alternative to boost these collections because it targets both private and government-aided schools. Because of COVID-19, that left schools closed, and therefore no collections from students for the year 2020-2021. These years were waived off, and the collections are being demanded for those of the current years 2022 and the areas of 2019, if any. Ministry of Education is engaging all head teachers in the country. The Honorable Yonga Joseph, Member of Parliament, Hoima West, that is Hoima City. That the government of Uganda has over the time prioritized education reforms as an anchor of socio-economic transformation and development, as demonstrated by various policy reforms, such as universal primary education, UPE of 1997, universal secondary education, USE of 2007, among others. Introduction of UPE has led to increased demand for secondary education services by learners who complete P7 level. Nyarugabo Seed Secondary School, located in Nyarugabo Cell, Kiduma Ward, Busisi Division in Hoima West, started a community school in 2019. And in June 2020, Church of Uganda, Bunyoro Kitara Diocese donated 6.9 acres of land to the then Hoima municipality, and the land title was transferred into the names of Hoima Municipal Council, Nyarugabo Seed Secondary School. The school has now 114 students from S1 to S4, studying from a community hall. The school was supposed to be constructed by World Bank under Uganda Secondary Education Expansion Project. And all the necessary documents were submitted, including the land title, and the council had been assured that the school was included in the year 2020-2021 budget. His prayer is that can I please update this house on the status of this project. Honorable Speaker, my response is that government through the Ministry of Education and Sports is waiting for an objection from the World Bank before commencing the procurement process under the Uganda Secondary Expansion Project. Question number 6 is from Honorable Kavush Moses, Member of Parliament, Chamuswa, Karangala District. The government of Uganda obtained a loan to construct seed secondary schools in all sub-counties in the country. As a result, Nekemea Memorial Secondary School was built in Buvu Island. I think it's Buvuma. Okay, let me read it as it is. Buvu Island in Chamuswa County in Kalangala District in the first phase under Uganda Intergovernmental Physical Transfer Program, UGIFT, and was meant to be officially opened early this year, which has not happened. And it is now third term, and there is no sign of opening the school. His prayer that can he know when Nekemea Seed Secondary School in Buvu Island in Chamuswa County in Kalangala District will be opened, as there are no substantive head teacher, staff recruited by government to run the school. Then the second one is aware that government policy does not support boarding seed secondary schools. Is there any special way Nekemea Memorial Seed Secondary School in Buvu, Kalangala District can be opened as boarding seed secondary school, since it is meant to serve primary schools in Kachanga, Lulamba, Kotobo, and Bufumira, which are all in different islands. My response is the Education Service Commission, Right Honorable Speaker and colleagues, has finalized the recruitment of 4,805 teaching and support staff for seed secondary schools. And among these are the 126 head teachers and 156 deputy head teachers, among others. The ministry has already issued appointment letters awaiting posting instructions and deployment to the various seed secondary schools, including Nekemea. It is true that the current scope of seed secondary schools do not have boarding facilities. This is in line with the USE school policy. However, the ministry and the government have noted the need to have exception for districts located in Karamoja and the islands, where operation of day schools is very challenging. Assessment is ongoing by the ministry engineers to ascertain that the cost needed to provide the above facilities are budgeted for in the medium term. Question number 7 came from Honorable Naume Kavasharira, Member of Parliament, Rushenyi County. That is in Tungamo District. Honorable Speaker and colleagues, the member says that there is a constant outcry by trucker drivers plying the Kampala-Masaka-Mbarara route over the mismanagement of the Rukaya and Mbarara Way bridges and the alleged misconduct of the officers in charge. Trucker drivers complain of harassment and extortion by some officers in those respective way bridge stations. This unprofessional conduct of business by the officers manning those stations may cause financial loss to government, and the money extorted from the drivers does not reach public coffers. Our prayers that the relevant, number one, the relevant agencies streamline the operations of the way bridges across the country. The second one is an investigation be conducted on the two-way bridges to establish the extent of the problem and the errant officers be prosecuted. Right Honorable Speaker and colleagues, Mbarara and Rukaya fixed-way bridges are located along Masaka Mbarara Road and are used to regulate the overloading of trucks for purposes of protecting the road infrastructure from premature damage. The two-way bridges are managed by Ministry of Works and Transport through Uganda National Roads Authority, UNRA. Government is in advanced stages of installing the first phase of high-speed way-in motion system at Mbarara, Magamaga, and Ruwero. The high-speed way in motion systems for other way bridges, including Rukaya, will be installed in the subsequent phases. These systems will allow compliant transporters to move on the road without having to stop on the way bridge. Data centralization has been done for Mbarara, Rukaya, Ruwero, Magamaga, Mubende, and Imbare way bridges. This increases visibility of weighing operations at each way station for monitoring purposes. Honorable Speaker and colleagues, I would like to inform this House that the matter reported by the Honorable Member in Rusheng is being followed, and those officers will be brought to book. Question number 8. Honorable Namanya Nabos, Member of Parliament Ruvabo, that is Rukongiri District. He says that Kahenje Water Project commenced in 2015 with a projection to provide a lasting solution to water shortages in the constituencies of Ruvabo, Rujumbura, Rukongiri Municipality, and the neighboring areas of Mitoma District. This project costed government 54 billion Uganda shillings, and it had been estimated to be commissioned in the year 2017. Later, an extension was made by the Ministry of Water and Environment in conjunction with the contractor to complete this project in the year 2018. The government is at the verge of losing this huge sum of money because after 7 years, the project has not been completed and commissioned, and the Rukongiri district is still facing the challenge of water shortage. His prayer that can I provide this House with the progress report and the reasons why the project has not been completed for 5 years beyond its completion date. Honorable Speaker and colleagues, my response is, it is true. The Rukongiri project, which was constructed by MS Technofab Engineering Limited, was expected to be completed by the year 2018. The contractor progressed well until the company faced legal and financial challenges in 2018 due to the death of the main stakeholder. Reorganization of the company following the demise of the principal stakeholder took some time. Work resumed seriously in 2019. However, the progress faced a setback following the outbreak of COVID-19 in 2020. During this period, importation of materials was not possible, and the movement to sites within the country was affected by the lockdown. In addition, the ministry faced cash flow constraints occasioned by the COVID-19 budget cuts. Honorable Speaker and colleagues, currently the system is undergoing test running full operations and commissioning of the completed project is scheduled to take place by the end of the year 2022. I was told by December this year. On the issues of cracks that are said to have developed on the water treatment and collection tanks at Lirima and Nabweya gravity fuel schemes, a team of engineers from the Ministry of Works, from the Ministry of Water and Environment have visited the installation at the two water supply systems. The micro cracks occurred because of the settlement of the foundations of some of the structures at the water treatment plants, mainly on the aprons, that is veranda, due to change in soil conditions because of rains. The ministry is undertaking the remedial works. Right, Honorable Speaker, I had more questions which I will answer next week. Honorable colleagues, thank you for listening to me.
Thank you so much, Honorable Majegere. And leader of government business for the responses, timely responses. Thank you. You have something to say?
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. I'd like to appreciate the Right Honorable Prime Minister for filing the responses to the members' questions. And I have only a few comments to make on the responses. On the question filed by the Honorable Achon Julius relating to the gift by the past government to our athletee in 1972. Of course, the NRM government came into power 14 years after the offer was made. And it took the NRM government 35 years to effect the offer. We can say it's never late. However, for the comfort of this House and for posterity, it would be better, Right Honorable Prime Minister, when you say the land title was given to the administrator of the estate, this being the House of Parliament, it doesn't really hurt if you even declare the name on record. If the administrator is the Administrator General, then we get to know because there is a government administrator. So this remains a bit unclear whether if the administrator is an individual, a member of the family, or a government, which is the Administrator General. So clarity helps in knowing and following up who actually is holding in trust for the family. So when communicating to Parliament, I beg that clarity does help a great deal in clearing such gaps. Secondly, on the question filed by the Honorable Mujuche relating to pollution of community water sources and disrespect of property rights by the miners, I think part of the question required some assurance, because if there's pollution of water sources, then you are dealing with a more dicey question. I would have expected you at least to give assurance that an inspection is on, because the answers are more futuristic than addressing an immediate community concern, Honorable Prime Minister. I want to invite you to probably engage with the member and understand the problem much better. If the question is actually immediate, probably you're dealing with a very serious health problem that requires urgent handling so far. Then 3, on the question raised by the Honorable Nanyondo Veronica on the new lower secondary curriculum. First of all, we discussed in this House of Parliament, the 20th Parliament to be particular, when this curriculum was taking off. And we warned that probably a lot more consultation would have been undertaken. But for some reason, we were in a hurry. For the record, all of us would like to have a new curriculum designed in a manner that will make our children more empowered from the lower stages of the education. Right, Honorable Speaker and honorable colleagues, what the Honorable Prime Minister did not inform the member who asked the question is what became of those other schools that were not involved in the orientation, because the record is 6,020 schools, government and private. The number is much bigger. And it's on record, right, Honorable Speaker and colleagues, that so many teachers up to now do not understand how to implement this curriculum. It is actually causing disorientation to the learners and to the teachers. You know, a teacher becomes very frustrated if he cannot confidently deliver. And part of the challenge is that even the materials, the books that were provided, prototype books, were not enough. The private school did not get. They have been spending a lot of money to photocopy. Some of the teachers actually are teaching by guesswork. Probably the country requires more assurance, Right Honorable Prime Minister, that over time, the government must admit to the gaps and immediately come in to close them. Right Honorable Speaker, one of the challenges arising from the manner of implementing this curriculum is that the component of inspection in education has since collapsed. I do not know whether it is financing or sheer negligence. Prime Minister, if you want to sample, I want to challenge you to start from Kakumiro and go and sample private and government secondary schools. Just make out of your routine as you move. Go and find out how they are struggling to implement this curriculum. And I worry that if we don't arrest the situation much earlier, because we have at least 2 years before the first cohort is outed, we can arrest it in the middle and offer remedial intervention to both teachers, because there's no educational system better than the quality and preparedness of its teachers. So the teachers still have gaps. They need a lot of technical backstopping for them to appreciate the length and breadth of this curriculum. You see the problem. So don't feel shy, Right Honorable Prime Minister, to report the gaps. We plan for this country together. There are problems. Inspection has serious challenges. So you may not be able, but I understand the haste with which these questions require answering. You may have to invite Parliament to join you in making the situation better. You're also aware that in the countryside, there is hardly power. ICT services are not there. The teachers are supposed to offer them are non-existent. So I don't know what we are going to do, but I envisage the gaps. We need to admit to them and make things better. Second last, Right Honorable Speaker, is the question that has been raised by the Honorable Sasaga. Now, for me, the response here is more of a procedural response. Right Honorable Speaker, I don't know whether we may be compelled to require the clerk that for his question, a date for filing is put on the order paper. Because this question has been answered late by the Right Honorable Prime Minister. And it becomes a bit problematic when a question is answered late and probably some of the issues raised have been overtaken by events. This question was supposed to remedy a possibility of some students missing exams because of these possibilities. And the filing is coming in at a time probably when some of them have missed. So the filing and response to question needs to be considered so that members get answers to their questions in earnest.
That's true.
Otherwise,
But
the whole
we
idea.
are also mindful that at that time we were on recess. It's good to put the time, but most of this could have come during recess.
Probably in the future, Right Honorable Speaker, the rules could be amended now that the Prime Minister has other able deputies. And the questions probably are responded to not in a persona, but after consultations, that the office responds and not the individual. So to allow room for the deputies to respond to questions in time, it could be good. Of course, it's very smart for the Prime Minister in person to come and really exhibit her smartness in responding to questions. While she's not around, she'll be able to see the ground for an able deputy to come and respond to members' questions, Right Honorable Speaker. But also, on the issue of UNSA, probably some members are not as actively following the UNSA matter. In our times, this was a very active students' body. Lately, it looks like an extension of some other political groups. And that is killing the motivation of students to subscribe to it. Because when these noble younger people's organizations are politicized, then the whole idea of their constitution is lost. So people with authority need to take a note of the fact that we can disorient well-intentioned programs by the manner in which we actually relate or portray them. Lastly, Right Honorable Speaker, my comment is on the question raised by the Honorable Naomi Kabasharira, Member of Parliament for Rushenyi. I appreciate the Prime Minister's response. Right Honorable Speaker and colleagues, the first prayer needs to be given more assuring responses. First of all, streamlining is a managerial issue. I think the Prime Minister needs to assure the member that she understood the context of this question. But also, the second prayer, where the Prime Minister is assuring that the government is in advanced stages. So what is that stage? If it is procurement is multi-stage. Can we know at what stage procurement is? Government cannot be at some advanced stage. Is it high school or O-level? So I would like to invite the Prime Minister to agree that government does not communicate in generic terms. Government communicates in specific unequivocal terms, so that people who ask questions can be able to communicate to stakeholders elsewhere, because government answers questions in a more particular way that assures the people that their concerns have been understood. Generic answering connotes politics. Some answers do not require political answering. They require technical, specific answering. Right, Honorable Speaker. I thank you.
Thank you so much, Leader of Opposition. Leader of Opposition, I happen to have gotten a copy of the two land titles. They were registered on 24th of June 2022 under KCCA 000-93470, 000-9366. I got those copies of the titles, and the owners do not want a lot of information to be given out on who is the administrator and that kind of thing. But if you want, I can give you a copy of the title. I mean, for confidentiality, really. I think that's what they preferred as a family. They didn't want the names to be showed. You never know. You will follow somebody in the night because now he has a lot of land. They have a reason to that effect. Yes, Propua.
I would not want to dispute the information you have just given, but the guidance I would want that this matter of the land going to Akibua was given to him on his distinguished achievement by the government of the Republic of Uganda. It's a formal thing. And I believe I'm a stakeholder in this country. Having given to the family of the late Akibua, and as a citizen of this country, I think I am entitled to know whether actually the people occupying that house or the titles are being processed in the names.
They are actually not being processed. They have been processed in the family.
They have been processed in the names of
Yes.
the beneficiaries of
I
the
may
estate of
not
the late.
know, I may not know the beneficiary per se, but the names that are here are Obua Akibua. Bua, B-U-A, Akibua. He's a son to the late. No, Amson is just a relative. He's a nephew, but the other one is Bua. But not also that Bua of Olympics. So the names are related to the family. So we don't know whether it's a family member or a son, whichever. Yes.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker,
right
you have already ruled to the extent that it would not supposed to be discussed. However, the person who raised the question can follow it up so that can find out the authenticity and the beneficiaries who are supposed to own that. And in the contrary, if he finds out that it is not right, we'll come back to you and the matter will be settled.
Yes.
So I think what you have ruled is already okay. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Right,
Thank you.
Honorable Speaker, thank you. I would like to inform the House that the whole family of the late Akibua was called at State House in Entebbe, the whole family, and the land title was handed over to them, and there is no complaint, and I think the matter has been resolved without any issue. Thank you.
So is there any problem? Thank you so much, Honorable Tony, and thank you for that Thank you for that clarification. And let's not discuss about people's properties here. We have helped to get it. That is if we have helped, but we must thank government. We must thank government for fulfilling the pledge. I know. Akelo?
Thank you, Madam Speaker, for giving me this opportunity.
Honorable Leader of Government Business, there is an issue for you here.
Yes, I want to thank you for giving me this opportunity. I just have a quick question to the Prime Minister. This is in regards to an issue that you're already aware of. It is in regards to the beatification of a very great man called Venerable Giuseppe Ambrosoli, who was a father, a reverend father, and a doctor. And the Holy Father, Pope Francis, has decided that the rite of beatification of this great man be held here in Uganda, and it's going to be the first of its kind in Uganda. Now, the question I wanted to ask the Prime Minister, is it possible for this great man who has done so much, put up a hospital in Kalongo, in Agago, a center, a leprosy center in Morolem, and so many other places, and was a professor in Mulago. Is it possible for this parliament to pay tribute and honor this great man before we conclude and have the beatification done in Kalongo, which is going to be on 20th November 2021?
2022, not 2021.
2022, sorry.
I had members shout. I put a question. Prime Minister.
Right, Honorable Speaker.
Prime
and colleagues.
Minister, you've seen how popular that is.
Yes, Right Honorable Speaker, I know how popular that is. I want to inform Parliament that the Archbishop came to my office. The Archbishop has met the President. The President directed the Ministry of Works, and I know works is ongoing in Agago. The Member of Parliament and the Minister for Economic Monitoring has been with me. I have been to Agago myself, and there is some progress, except that government money. There are those processes that have a bit delayed. But I want to promise to this House that government will honor our promise.
Honorable members, of course, one thing is there's a
Then-
timeline.
Lastly,
paying tribute.
Yes. Honorable Speaker, I think we need now to move a motion. Can I move a motion?
No, without notice. Please do.
Or maybe we
Okay.
make it special.
Let's make a special.
Because the
special.
person we are talking, the person in question is a very big person.
Let's make a special.
Let us make a special one together with the members of parliament. I will call them, then we agree on a date, and then I will move.
Very good. Honorable members. That
Lastly,
does not stop us.
Right Honorable Speaker, I request that the members of parliament come with me today, and we go and process and see where the obstacles are, so that we can.
Honorable members, as very good people of Parliament of Uganda, that does not stop us even from making our personal contributions towards the cause, because it's a very important event for us as Ugandans. As we stay in the queue, as we wait for government release, we could start as members of Parliament. We are not going to say give this, but there is a blessing in giving. Obama said it all, that blessed are those who what? The hands that give. So members, let's support that initiative, and we welcome it to Uganda, and I thank all of you. Based on that, I now adjourn the House to 2 on Tuesday.